Man, Ryan Ruocco, Mr. You Bet himself, and Rebecca Lobo ended up bringing up how players have been getting away with fouling Caitlin Clark live on right here. They're talking about this right here where JJ was holding the arm, okay? Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit.
Did Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo just put the WNBA officials on blast during a live national broadcast? What started as standard game commentary quickly turned into a bold critique of how Caitlin Clark is repeatedly on the receiving end of hard contact, while the referees appear to treat it like a casual pickup game. Missed calls, lack of awareness, and zero accountability. When the voices in the broadcast booth begin raising red flags in real time, you know it's not just background noise, it's a major red alert. This wasn't just analysis. It was a live, on-air wake-up call. The message was crystal clear. This pattern has to stop. So, let's roll it back and examine each rough play. Drop your thoughts below. WNBA officials dropping the ball. Let's dive in.
Right here, they're talking about this right here where JJ was holding the arm, okay? Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit here. She was calling this a foul. This is Rebecca Lobo talking, right? She called this a foul. And then we have this hit right here off JJ Quinterly, right on the arm right here. She calling this a foul too, all right?
It's not as if Caitlin Clark is the only player absorbing contact out there, but for some reason, she's consistently the one taking the hardest hits with no repercussions. At this point, it's become so routine, it feels almost scripted. Clark takes a blow. The refs look the other way, and fans are left venting their frustration into the void. Meanwhile, the league carries on as though nothing's out of the ordinary. Social media has practically turned it into a running joke. What will Caitlin survive this time? As if there's some unwritten WNBA rule allowing excessive contact. When her name's on the jersey, lately, it feels more like we're watching wrestling than professional basketball. Still, the whistles stay silent, just bruises and stunned reactions on the broadcast.
I'm gonna just change the scenery and then I'm gonna let y'all hear the audio, okay?
The ball handler, there's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. I mean,
all of those are
fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul, and finally they call.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, you know, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something.
Yes, physicality is part of the game, but the contact Caitlin Clark endures goes far beyond standard play. What she faces each night borders on excessive, with a steady stream of elbows, hip checks, and grabs that seem more suited to a contact sport than basketball. While viewers and commentators react in disbelief, the officials appear completely disengaged, almost as if they're watching something entirely unrelated. Clark isn't just going up against defenders. She's competing in an environment where the rules seem to shift based on her identity. The referees. They often seem like bystanders in an entirely different production. Not a basketball game, maybe an action film, maybe Quidditch. But certainly not the same sport the rest of us are watching.
Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the...
And this isn't just about rough play in the paint or battling for position under the rim. Caitlin Clark is taking hits the moment the ball is inbounded. From baseline to baseline, it's a full-court gauntlet of unchecked physicality. She's not being defended, she's enduring. The whistle isn't just absent, it's as if it's vanished entirely. With that silence, the officials have turned every possession into a test of endurance, seeing just how much a single player can absorb before reaching a breaking point. At this stage, you really have to ask, are the referees even seeing the same game we are?
Finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it.
And to top it all off, the maddening inconsistency. In one game, even minimal contact can trigger a flagrant foul. In another, a full-speed elbow to the ribs is praised as tough defense. You'll see a light reach-in get whistled immediately, only to watch a blatant body check moments later go completely ignored. It's like the rules flip depending on the minotaur, the matchup. One possession feels tightly regulated, the next descends into chaos. And somehow, more often than not, these shifting standards seem to work against Caitlin Clark.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo.
Now imagine trying to explain this situation to someone new to the sport. You tell them Caitlin Clark is one of the brightest stars in women's basketball, an electrifying talent worth watching. Then you cue up a game and they watch her get crushed by a wall of defenders on a drive to the arc. And nothing, not even a hint of a whistle. Meanwhile, Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo are visibly rattled on the broadcast, doing their best to stay composed while witnessing the chaos unfold. They weren't just commentating, they were walking viewers through a slow-motion collapse of officiating logic. In that moment, their words landed harder than a missed screen. They finally dropped the pretense and voiced what so many fans have been thinking. They is beyond frustrating. It's downright ridiculous.
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's.
And let's be honest, this isn't some recent fluke or isolated incident. It's been happening far too long. The uneven foul calls, the missed infractions, the deafening silence from the league. This storyline has more reruns than your favorite drama series. The faces change, the years roll by, but the script somehow stays the same. And now, with this playing out in high definition on national television, backed by elite broadcast teams raising serious concerns, the WNBA can no longer plead ignorance. This isn't just a pattern. It's a full-blown crisis playing out live right in front of us.
Think the old guard? You think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay. You guys watch this. Quinterly grabbed Caitlin Clark's arm. Like, Caitlin, where you going? Get over here. Oh, that's interesting. Why play defense when we can just grab somebody's arm, right? Interesting. Quinterly putting her hand around Caitlin Clark's waist. Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Sorry.
Let's be clear. The league isn't in the dark about what's going on. They have access to every angle, every replay, every second of game footage. Nothing here is hidden or ambiguous. This isn't about oversight. It's about tolerance. The officials aren't missing these moments. They're allowing them to happen. And fixing it isn't rocket science. Officiate consistently. Invest in better training. Establish clear, enforceable standards. If you can mic up players and coaches for broadcast content, you can certainly demand accountability from the people with whistles. No one's asking for perfection, we're just asking for the fundamentals. What's frustrating is the contradiction. The league is actively pushing for greater visibility, respect, and mainstream relevance, yet continues to tolerate officiating that undermines the integrity of the product. They say they're ready for the spotlight, but how can you welcome the world in only to leave your biggest stars exposed? It's like inviting people to a premiere and refusing to fix the projector. The experience suffers, and so does the perception. And right now, that perception is clear. Caitlin Clark is being forced to endure a nightly gauntlet, while the officials pretend it's all just part of the game.
Foul as she gets body checked. That's a foul. That's a foul. I mean, it's not only until right now when she's finally whacked on the arm. I'm so happy that the broadcast team finally called it out directly. And it's so insane. And I talked about this in my video where I broke down the whole game. I mean, Enrique clearly fouls her, whacks her. Caitlin Clark gets shot. I mean, just even right now, I actually kind of paused it perfectly, not even on purpose. You can see both hands on her body up against her chest. You can't play defense like that. I don't care what random person in the comment section tries to convince you otherwise. That's not.
You watch Caitlin Clark battling through triple coverage arms flying. Sneakers screeching across the hardwood, taking hit after hit, while a referee stands just feet away, staring as if waiting for divine intervention before blowing the whistle. Then the camera zooms in as she's slammed into the scorer's table like a crash test dummy. Everyone sees it. The fans wince. The commentators gasp. And the slow-motion replay captures every jarring detail. Still nothing, no call. Maybe? The refs are wearing noise-canceling earbuds. Maybe they're staging some kind of silent protest. Who knows? And no, this isn't about demanding special treatment. It's about holding officials to a basic professional standard. You shouldn't need to wrap her in bubble wrap or tape a fragile handle with care sign to her jersey. Just call the game the way it's meant to be called. Because at this point, watching Caitlin Clark on the court feels less like basketball and more like a haunted house. There's always something jumping out at her. Meanwhile, the officials act like they saw a shadow, not a full-blown takedown. Honestly, some nights, it feels like random fans on social media could officiate with more consistency than the actual crew on the floor.
Caitlin Clark does not have a special whistle in the WNBA, unlike some other players. Asia Wilson. Every time you touch Asia Wilson, she's going through the free throw line. And the announcers definitely will say she's one player that gets a lot of fouls called on her, and she goes to that free throw line. Breanna Stewart, she gets a lot of foul calls.
Let's be honest, Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's the #1 overall pick, a marquee talent and a driving force behind packed arenas across the country. Yet somehow, she's being officiated like a bench player who accidentally got subbed in. The calls she doesn't get are genuinely perplexing. This isn't about giving her special treatment, it's about preserving the integrity of the game. You can't champion progress and equality while allowing your most visible players to take constant punishment with no accountability. You've got to choose a direction, ideally one that involves enforcing the actual rules. What's most telling? Even the broadcasters are breaking from script. When the people paid to stay neutral start openly questioning the officiating, that's a major warning sign. They're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud, yet they're doing it because at this point, what choice do they have? Clark gets hit mid-play, and the silence from the officials speaks volumes. You start to wonder, will it take someone? Literally launching her into the front row before a whistle gets blown. Is she going to get fouled and watch her opponent head to the line? It's turned into a running gag. And unfortunately, the punchline is always the same. No call.
So guys, today we got to talk about something, and Paige Beckers in an interview literally exposed just how bad the referee's problem is. Like, she just exposed how bad it was in a pre-game interview for the game. I couldn't find the audio part of it, but Ryan Rocco literally said she had to forget. So basically, she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. So, you know, everything you learn about defense, how to play while not fouling, how to move your feet, how to do all this. She had to throw out all the good defensive fundamentals that she learned. And now she had to learn.
No one's asking for favoritism. Fans just want consistency. If one player gets a whistle for minimal contact, then the same standard should apply to everyone, yes. Even the ones with endorsement deals and their face on a Times Square billboard. You can't justify letting defenders take full swings at Caitlin Clark under the guise of letting them play. That's not physical basketball, it's penalizing excellence. And here we are again. Another game where Caitlin spends more time hitting the hardwood than actually playing. Tossed around like she's in some kind of contact sport, while the officials stand by like they're watching an abstract performance art piece. Even the broadcasters have had enough. The clips are everywhere. Fans are speaking out. And yet, the league remains silent. But at this point, it's no longer about missed calls, starting to feel deliberate.
I don't think her importance is overstated. I think she's a singular force like we've never seen before in the women's game, in particular in the women's college game. And we've had great players. We just haven't had this mix of a player who does something we've never seen before in the women's college game in terms of the logo threes. Every time the stakes raise and it feels like, oh, geez, there's got to be a lot of pressure on this kid, a lot of pressure.
When Rebecca Loboa, former player, respected analyst, and usually calm, impartial voice starts subtly calling out the officiating, you know things have gone off the rails. She's not someone who chases controversy. She's speaking up. It means the situation is undeniably bad. Then there's Ryan Ruocco, doing his best to stay composed, but you can hear the disbelief creeping into his voice. The hesitations, the drawn-out woes, they're trying to maintain professionalism while still signaling that what they're witnessing doesn't add up. Lobo, in particular, seems to have hit her limit. This is someone whose tone usually stays measured, even during chaotic moments. But now, she's flat out saying that Caitlin Clark is getting hammered without consequence. She's no longer just providing commentary, she's keeping a record. And when she starts pointing out missed fouls in real time, it stops feeling like analysis and starts sounding more like a courtroom cross-examination.
The last thing I'm going to say about the Caitlin Clark WNBA drama, at least for this very moment, because the discourse has gotten absolutely insane, but there has been a lot of media and current athletes coming out and saying that the treatment that players like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, like other rookies are receiving is just how basketball is. It's happened to many WNBA players in the past, and this is just the way it is. And new fans coming to the game just need to deal with it. However, this is the way that the game has been, and the WNBA has never been as successful as it.
She'll take viewers through the replays moment by moment. Here's the shove. Here's the arm grab. Here's the clear slap to the wrist. None of it called. At this point, there's nothing subtle about it, and you can feel the tension building. The fans see it, the commentators see it, and chances are, the referees do too. But no one's stepping in to correct it. It's reached a level where conspiracy theories don't even sound far-fetched anymore. Like maybe there was a quiet directive sent around, don't give Caitlin Clark the benefit of the whistle. Make her fight for everything. The strangest part, this wasn't the case in college. At Iowa, she took contact like any star player, but the fouls were called. She'd go to the line, sink her free throws, and the game moved on. It was basketball, simple and fair. Now she gets leveled picks. Herself up, and somehow ends up looking like the one who needs to apologize for being in the path of someone else's elbow. The contrast is too sharp to dismiss as coincidence. It's as if an entirely different rulebook is being applied every night, one with fine print that only applies to Caitlin. Where contact doesn't count unless she's the one committing. And even then, the refs seem quick to blow the whistle. That's not balance, it's overcorrection. And it couldn't be more obvious.
Ryan and Rebecca go and extend a rip at the foul issues. Absolutely unbelievable criticism. For Paige to say she had to relearn how to defend to be less careful about fouling. That's not basketball. Like, people literally say, oh, it's physical basketball. No, you're just going around hacking people. You're just going around hacking people. That's not foul. That's not defense. Going around hacking people. Genuinely. Going around hacking people is not defense. That's not defense.
Rebecca Lobo wouldn't be addressing this if it weren't absolutely undeniable. When she calmly describes how Caitlin Clark is being bumped, grabbed, and shoved like it's part of some rehearsed routine. She's not being dramatic. She's not being dramatic. She's not being dramatic. She's Hana Nisa. And live A, long, chase. May live, long last inquire. When we see my law last case in Caller. When we see my plays with Hana Nice. We see my mind. By we see my race cord. We see my lies kide sick. We see my seed. By we see my live. I can lied kata me salakad. Kai kide it's uncaperse it's as it's glee it's a be it's I sit kai we last it is sick complete is theory could sit I like it just the dependent ways which laying out the facts, and fans are right there with her. At this point, Clark's highlight reels are often overshadowed by a running montage of officiating missteps. While the league maintains radio silence, Lobo continues to methodically spotlight every missed call live on national television. She's not ranting, she's documenting. And the evidence is piling up. We're now in a full-scale standoff. The league spinning PR, the officials remaining inexplicably silent. Caitlin absorbing contact night after night, and fans growing increasingly frustrated. And in the eye of the storm are Lobo and Ruoko, two broadcasters still committed to calling it like it is. They were never supposed to be the focal point. But because the referees aren't doing their jobs, these two have become the only reliable narrators of what's actually happening on the court. And frankly, thank goodness for that. Because without their honesty, this entire situation might have exploded into something far worse by now. Their willingness to speak the uncomfortable truth is holding the entire conversation together. While the officials keep looking away, at least the audience still has two clear voices saying, "This isn't right." The ball is in the league's court now, literally and figuratively. If the WNBA wants to grow, it has to protect its stars. Caitlin Clark didn't step into this league to become the face of a system that can't even keep her on her feet. It's time to stop pretending and finally blow the whistle. Comment below, what do you think?